Hey guys, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Eachine Turbine QX70, and this is a 70mm brushed quadcopter with ducted fans that look a lot like the Tiny Whoops. As you might recall from a recent video on my channel, I built another Tiny Whoop here with a B-Core F3 board. This is the Eachine Turbine is 70mm motor to motor. The Tiny Whoops are 65mm motor to motor, so they're a little bit smaller, but the Eachine Turbine will run 8.5mm motors, whereas the Tiny Whoops are only going to be running the 6mm motors, so quite a bit difference in terms of motor size and power, and also weight. So not only do you get bigger motors on the turbine, you also get slightly bigger propellers. These are about 40mm quad-bladed props, and I'm just feeling this in my hand here, and it does feel a bit heavy. I'll get to the weight here in a little bit, but comes with this is a micro camera here with a circular polarized antenna. I believe this is the CM275 with I'm not sure if it comes with a circular polarized antenna or a linear antenna. I know the one from T-Mart, this one here, the Bold Clash F1, comes with a linear polarized antenna out of the box. And I'm not exactly sure if the Banggood version does or not. I'll have to check into that. But this one does come with a circular polarized antenna and should function the same with the two buttons and all the LEDs in the back. It's directly soldered onto the board here in the back here. This one comes with 4 LEDs in the back, and we'll look at that a little bit later in clean flight. And it comes with a really big battery underneath here. It's mounted vertically. I believe these are the 600 milliamp hour batteries. Let me just check here. So yeah, it's a 600 milliamp hour 1S battery with a micro low-C connector. So these are the same batteries that come with the QX90, the QX95, the whole series of brushed quadcopters have come out that use the 8.5mm motors. Although kind of questioning if a smaller battery might be suited better for this, because I'm thinking that the props aren't going to be big enough to support the weight of this. So let me get the weight here. It does feel a bit on the heavy side. So let's put everything in. So just the quad itself comes in at about 40 grams, 39.3, and we'll throw the battery on there. And yeah, it bumps up the total weight to 55 grams. So I know that some of my other brushed micros that have the 8.5mm motors, they're typically around 55 or less, but they have the bigger gem fan propellers, which are going to be, I think those are 60 or 65 millimeters, and these little propellers here are only 40, so you're going to get a significant reduction in the thrust even though you have a bigger motor. So we'll have to see how the performance is. So the version that I was sent is the FlySky version. It comes with they're available in FreeSky, FlySky, and DSM2. The receiver is built into the board, and I believe the bind button's underneath the camera mount here, so I'll take that off. Get your motor connectors on the bottom here. They're just plugged in with these little JST plugs here on the bottom, and it looks like we don't have a USB port. We've got one of these little micro connector connections here for configuring the board, and in the box they do include that cable. It's a USB cable that goes to this micro connector. It's a 4-pin 1mm micro connector that goes to that board. So this is how you would plug it into your computer instead of using a USB cable. You also get a spare set of props in the box and a USB to micro low-C battery charger for the battery, and they also include a prop removal tool as well. And that's everything you get in the box. You don't get any instructions. I guess it does come with clean flight on board, so if you bind it to your radio, you should be able to just go ahead and fly, but I'm not sure what switches or auxiliary channels are being used for arming or any other features. So I'm gonna have to plug it into clean flight to see what is how it's set up, so that we can bind it to our FlySky radio and figure out how to fly it. So let me take this mount off here and see where the bind pins are. Okay, I slid the little camera mount over to the side here, and zoomed in on the board, and yeah, it does come with a bind button, which is nice. So it's up to press and hold that in and bind it to our transmitter when we plug in the battery. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to plug it into the computer. So let me go ahead and pop on the computer screen right now. Okay, so I got the QX70 connected up to CleanFlight, and we'll just connect here and see what we got. I believe it's set up as a PPM receiver, not S-Bus, so none of the UARTs will be used for serial RX. And in config here, looks like pretty much a default CleanFlight setup here. And same with failsafe. Looks like this is also defaults. Under PID tuning, it looks like they've used the same defaults that were in the EX110. The same roll rate, pitch rate, PN, all the PIDs looks like the same from that as well. So it looks like they've sort of a brushed setup here, and they're kind of pre-flashing to all their CleanFlight boards. And I've already bound this up to my FlySky i6X, and just making sure that all of the channels are working the correct way, and they are. And under modes, they have arming on aux1 as well as a setting of angle mode on aux1. So I have that set up as one of my switches, and it's auxiliary 1, which is channel 5 on the radio. And I can see here that it flipping the switch arms it, which is good. And I think that's it for the CleanFlight setup. I'll go ahead and fly and see how it flies based on the out-of-the-box experience. Okay, so let's just do a little hover test of the QX70 here first before we do any FPV. You can see you got some pretty bright LEDs there on the back, and you can see that they change their lighting pattern based on what you do with your sticks. Right, left, and throttle up, throttle down. And if we arm, the lights turn from yellow to blue. Alright, let's arm and see how it goes. It's quite noisy, and it's, whoa! Okay. It's wow, that's interesting. So there's a lot of vibration, and that's what that horrible sound is. It's the frame vibrating, and then right there at the end, it did a yaw to the left. I did not input that at all, and that's usually an indication of some sort of a motor problem, or a prop is loose, perhaps. Let me see here. That should not be happening. Either that or the vibration is causing the gyro to freak out. That's another possibility. Alright, let's try one more time. Let's arm and rearm. Alright. There, I saw it yawing. Yep, just that time it yawed to the right. I did not input that yaw at all. Yeah, this is why we always do line of sight first before you FPV, because then you can imagine doing this while you have the goggles on, and all of a sudden the quad's going off in some random direction. That'll be fun. Try one more time here. Pretty sure we got a bad motor, but I'm not sure why it's going right or left. It seems random. Now it's going to the left. Yep. And it seems like the yaw gets worse. Let me just see if I can fly it, see what happens here. Whoa, it's all very twitchy. So I think if I make it go in a certain direction, it doesn't yaw. Interesting. Now it's not doing it. Let me just bring it back here. The power is not that great. Alright, so I'm just going to let it sit here. There's yawing there, see that? So if you just let it hover, it just randomly wants to yaw. But if you fly it, it seems to be okay, which is very, very strange. So I have a feeling that maybe it's not the motors, but the vibration in the frame is causing the gyro to behave funny. And if you're just sitting there without any input and it's getting vibration, maybe it's thinking that it needs to do that to fix whatever problem's going on. Just speculating. But from flying it around, I think the actual movements of the quad are masking the vibrations. So let me just actually fly it some more. So I think as I fly more, it doesn't vibrate as much. Ooh, they don't yaw very hard. You lose altitude pretty quick. Whoa. Yeah, but it loses a lot of altitude. Full throttle there. Just take quite a bit to recover. There you go. Oh. Yeah. Alright, let's take it easy here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright. I think I'm at the end of the battery. Alright, let's give it a little go with some FPV here. I'll give you some FPV footage. Okay, so I'm going to try and do a little FPV in the house, and I'm going to go with a lighter battery. I think this setup with the 600 milliamp is too heavy. That's why when you do the yaw, it loses altitude very quickly. It's because in order for a quadcopter to yaw, you have to spin down two motors, which you're losing about half your power, and so you're just going to lose altitude. So I'm going to go with this this battery here. It's a 300 milliamp hour 1S nanotech battery. It's about 9 grams lighter than this one, this 600 milliamp hour battery. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more stable flight in the when I'm doing FPV inside the house. So I'm just going to go ahead and shoot the FPV footage here for you right now. So what I'm noticing here right off the bat is that even with the lighter battery, it still feels very underpowered, and especially in the quick turns and quick changing of direction, I am losing a lot of altitude. I'm actually having to do full throttle punch outs just to prevent it from hitting the ground. And it's also very wobbly on the roll axis. You can kind of see it there, and the tuning is not the greatest. It needs some work, but I think the lack of power is actually something that's a lot more concerning, because I'm having a pretty hard time just controlling it. I'm having to go very fast forward flight here just to maintain altitude and some semblance of a direction. It's not easy to maneuver around, so I'm just kind of going in circles, just trying to see what I can do to keep it in the air. I'm trying to keep it pretty much high off the ground, because I know that I can drop altitude very quickly. And I think here I'm about to crash. I think I tried to make a turn too quick, and I ended up hitting the wall and couldn't recover from the turn here. Okay, so I think I've discovered the source of the vibration. It's the reason the frame is vibrating. The motors are very, you see, you're very loose in these little holders that this plastic frame is molded to, and you see that this thing just slides up and down like this, and that's the reason I crashed. I went over there and I was like, well, why did all of a sudden it just basically, I don't know if you noticed in the FPV, just as I turned, it just went like this, and I ended up losing control and hitting the door, and this motor was all the way out, almost completely out. So you can see it's very loose. I pushed it back in, but it just comes right out. So I was like, okay, I pulled on this one. This one's okay. This one here is also loose, as you can see. So yeah, this is not good, and this one's okay. What's interesting is this is actually the second one that was sent to me, because the first one I got had, well, basically it was damaged in shipping, but this frame is very flimsy, because the box that it comes in is very well padded. So here's the box it comes in. I mean, you're talking about a centimeter of padding around here, but the box itself wasn't damaged, but the frame of the other one was damaged, and what happened was one or two of the ducts were cracked, and so the propeller couldn't spin at all. It was just rubbing against there, and was actually about the whole duct was about to fall off, which, I mean, I couldn't review it, so they sent me another one. But I'm thinking the weak spot of this design is this frame. It's really flimsy. It's flexible like this, which is terrible for tuning, and just makes the gyro freak out, which is what's probably what's going on is the motors are vibrating inside the little holder here, and it just doesn't know what to do. So it just does really unexpected stuff. You know, if you look at how flexible this frame is, yeah, it's bigger and heavier, but it's a lot more flexible than the frame that the E010 comes in. I mean, this is flexible, but it's a lot stiffer than that one, and this is a lot smaller and lighter. So obviously that's why, if you saw that video, this flies a lot better. So yeah, based on the design of the current frame and the way it's all flexible and kind of flimsy like this, and all the vibrations and motors not staying put and falling out, yeah, I would have to say that this one is probably a do not buy at this point until they can address these issues. The camera seemed fine. The image was nice and clear. And I'm sure that you could probably, if you happen to buy this before you saw my review, you could probably take the board and use it in something else. I'm thinking that there might be some carbon fiber or metal ducted frames out there that might be more suitable for this, and you could just swap the parts in if you happen to have this and you broke this frame. So I think the frame's like $4, but I wouldn't. If you did get this and break the frame, I wouldn't get this frame. I would get something else to put it in, something that would fit the 8.5mm motors. Anyway, guys, hope you like this review. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section below. and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.